Novo lit that shit bang.
Welcome back, everybody, to Crows of Judgment. And today I want to address more things that have come out about predator poachers, but also address some of the fans of predator poachers. And I'm going to try to not be as big of a dick as I've been to some of these people that have left these comments. Because I've already kind of been a little mean, and I want to try to be nice and, educate some people. But I have a select few comments pulled up here that we'll go over, as well as a couple of new videos that I just looked into. The first one being a miner that was used as natural decoy and was put into the room with actual predators by predator poachers, as well as address a conversation that Alex of Predator Poachers had with Tipster, who I think has been doing a great job in covering why these guys are just absolute trash. But as you can see, I picked my favorite comment to talk about first. Let me read this out. Whether or not he goes to jail is kind of irrelevant. In this day and age, he's been exposed online. Personally, I'd take a little while in jail than having been exposed for the rest of my life online as a predator. That shit stays online forever. So this person is saying that they don't actually care if EDP goes to prison. It's worse that EDP has been exposed online. And one thing I thought was pretty funny is I literally don't know the real name of EDP. I know it's out there. I could probably look it up. But, how many people right now, and I just in general, right? I know it's readily available information if you look for it. How many people online right now talking about EDP actually know that guy's real name? Okay? But as far as, what would be worse? Going to prison is absolutely worse because, when you go to prison, you're automatically put onto the sex offender registry list, and wherever you move to, you have to inform all of your neighbors that you are a Pedro. You have to make sure that you cannot move anywhere nearby a schoolyard, right? They also monitor your activity, and you never get off of that list. And here's the funny thing, right? Everybody has access to the sex offender registry list. So yeah. It would absolutely be better for the public for EDP to go to prison and be forced to register on the sex offender registry list. Because, look, EDP is nowhere near a household name, right? EDP, even with 2 million subs, is a niche troll channel on YouTube, right? Obviously, a lot of people know him from this meme or that meme, but he's not well known, right? I mean, sure, on YouTube, I'm sure there's a bunch of people who know who EDP is, right? Within the segment of the community that he's involved with. But honestly, nobody knows who this guy is, right? Outside of YouTube, nobody knows. Even on YouTube, nobody knows who he is, right? Except for his loyal fan base. I'm sorry, but that's just it. You exposing him online and destroying his career online doesn't stop him from doing things with kids. He still has access to do it with kids. He's I was personally blown away by the mentality here, but this seems to be a mentality that's shared with a lot of the fans of Predator Poachers. But let's move on to the next comment that I have pulled up. Whether he goes to jail or not, I bet his punk ass will think twice about doing that shit again. I actually agree with Carlos over here. I think he will think twice, and I think he's going to be a hell of a lot more careful. Because here's the thing, right? Even Pedros who go to prison and everything, and they're registered on a list and all that stuff, right? The recidivism rate of that community is excessively high, right? It's almost like they are I don't even know how to describe it, but it's kind of like trying to take away crack from a crack addict. it doesn't work out very well, right? Most of these people go on to reoffend, right? And they go right back into prison with much harsher sentences, and it's a lot easier to get them the second time. But yeah, no, they don't tend to not. I mean, the percentage is it's excessively high, right? So now you have EDP, who was busted 5 months ago, right? Was able to get out of that situation, is busted again, is able to avoid prison. What makes you think he isn't going to do this stuff again? I think he will think twice, though. I just think that what his thought process is, how can I better hide this next time? I need to have an alibi ready. I need to have my lawyer on speed dial. Fucking Christ, right? I like him going to prison and him not going to prison are two very different scenarios, and you should absolutely want this guy behind bars. Okay? Like, why is this even a debate with people? Okay, actually, I really like this comment, right? And it's not untrue, right? I'm trying to be as fair as I can here. What you fail to realize is that you can never really destroy evidence. You may delete pictures, text messages, etc. on your end, but it is never deleted on the other end. You leave electronic footprints, metadata, etc. on servers, clouds, apps, social media sites, etc., especially if you have an iPhone. Once it's in cyberspace, it's there forever. Okay. I actually, he is correct about it. Like, once it's online, you can never get rid of it. But look, EDP can straight up take his computer, right? Go to a nice hot bubble bath and just shove it in there, right? And then it's up to you to prove that those messages came from his device, which is like fucking destroyed. But more to the point, you actually need a warrant to get any of this stuff. You think Twitter is going to give this information out willy-nilly? I'm being honest, right? Do you think Twitter or Snapchat or Instagram are going to like say, "Oh my gosh, let's give out messages, private messages and everything out to the police that proves that pedophiles use our services," right? Because what we want to be known is a social media company where child predators use our services. That is exactly what they want to be known for. Look, once he's destroyed everything, it is exceedingly difficult for the police to then tie it back to his property, which no longer exists, right? But beyond even that, where's your warrant? The cops actually need a warrant to get access to all of this stuff. What makes you think that they're going to get a warrant from a judge? Imagine this conversation, right? Right. The police want to get a warrant, and they come up and they go like, "Hey, so we got two drunk assholes, right, who run a prank channel, right? That's totally legitimate, right? This is being totally serious, right? But they run a prank channel, and they basically coerced a confession out of a guy, and we want to use that so that we can open an investigation into somebody." Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it's impossible to get said warrant. I'm just saying it's exceedingly unlikely. Right? Like, you would need a warrant to do this stuff, right? Stop being fucking, like, oh my god, man, it's not wrong. You probably could find a way to tie it back with, but the longer it takes you to get access to it, the harder off it's going to be to prove anything. And again, that's assuming the cops can even get a warrant on the guy. Hey guys, Future Crow here. I just finished editing the video, and I realized I didn't include this segment in here. But a while back, there was this Twitter thread a lot of people were going over, and in it there was this clip of Alex saying some really creepy and degenerate shit. And some people were saying, and Alex himself was saying, it was taken completely out of context, right? He wasn't actually being creepy with kids. So I found the original video, right? It's like 7 minutes long. And when you listen to it, it's going to make you want to throw up, right? This is a prank, or at least I'm assuming it's a prank because of how it ends, right? But for basically a 7 minute long prank, Alex licks his lips and tells a minor, right, to basically strip, get nude, and then, pleasure themselves for a predator, right? When I talk to you guys about the issues with a prank channel / predator poaching channel coexisting in the same place, right? Like uploading to the same spot. This is the kind of shit that would make this an absolute freaking nightmare for law enforcement to get involved. Again. We're talking about, if I am to believe Alex's own fans, 3 to 4 people being convicted, and if I'm to believe Alex, that's out of a range of over 300 plus busts that they have done. Pure fucking brain damage. Now, this comment I actually did kind of like, right? Because I actually have the story pulled up. If they didn't get people convicted, I think they would have stopped a long time ago. PP and CC unit have actually gotten several people convicted. This dude, Jamie, well, first off, I want to be clear here. You just said several people. Alex said that combined, they busted over 300 plus people. If you're telling me that they managed to get 3 people convicted, oh my fucking god, get these people off of the internet, because that would mean what do you think happened with the other 300 plus people that aren't convicted? They're out there on the streets, but more to the point. This dude Jamie that lived with his mom is in jail with no bail after they made him wear a I lick t-shirt. Doesn't matter if the cops aren't involved. They have evidence of enticement of a minor. They willingly give over to the cops. They seize thousands of CP off dude's phone. Wiping a phone clean or computer is not going to work. They will still search and get what they need. So I pulled up the story, right? And I think Tipster even covered this. Vigilante investigation creates issues for prosecuting cases. This is the Jamie individual that user was referring to. Okay? And actually, I looked into it a little bit further. This Jamie person has been arrested before. The cops are already looking into him, right? The police were already investigating the individual when Predator Poachers showed up and decided to do one of their stupid-ass busts on the guy. The cops were already involved, and then Predator Poacher showed up as a third party and jeopardized the entire case. So let's... Yeah, right? Like, you guys didn't know that, okay? But Predator Poachers is literally taking credit for this shit. And I'm just like, the cops are already involved, and you guys jeopardized their fucking case. And your fans think you did great work. Well, at the same time, they'll also say that the police don't want to get involved until someone's actually been abused. Like, they were already involved in this one. And Predator Poachers may have extremely, fucked the case up. According to a probable cause affidavit, Sydney police began an investigation of a 45-year-old Sydney man being called to a Sydney apartment building Wednesday, December 2nd. The apartment manager had contacted police, reporting men in a black SUV who appeared to be watching a Sydney apartment building. Sydney police attempted to make contact with the men. The men were part of a group of 4 men who say in a YouTube video that they had drove from Houston, Texas to confront a man they allege had sought to have sexual relations with an 8-year-old girl. At first, according to the video, the men sought to confront him at a Sydney business, but when realizing he wouldn't be alone, they decided to confront him at his mother's. So, the article's up from Star Herald. If you search the title on Google, you'll be able to read through the entire thing. Spoiler alert, they may have screwed up the entire case. We are lucky. Everybody is extremely lucky if Predator Poachers did not fuck this case up so bad that this guy gets back out onto the streets. They did the opposite of helping, and they did it because, money. And I'm gonna address the money. Okay, here we go. Right? Because I see this shit constantly. Right? They need the money. Right? They need the money because, catching these predators costs gas and tolls or hundreds of dollars, right? They need phones, they need this, and they need all this stuff, right? and they need hotels. They have to pay a professional third-party editor, yada, yada. Okay. This is an insanely idiotic and stupid statement, okay? Right? Look, I don't take issues with someone wanting to make money on YouTube, right? I make a little bit of money on YouTube. It's not a lot, but sure, I appreciate it each month. However, like, the hell is this, right? I take serious issues if in your goal of, catching and busting predators, you prioritize the money above everything else, which includes letting predators get away, right? When this person talks about how it's costing them hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, right, to catch these predators, are you insane, right? It costs literally nothing to have a VPN and make fake catfish accounts on Snapchat and on all this other stuff. Now, it might cost a little bit of money to get, like, burner phones, right? And I mean a little bit of money to get burner phones, but, like, no. It doesn't really cost that much, right? And more to the point, like, I would say if you really boiled it down to what actually costs them money, it's them wanting to show up and, like, do these catches in person. But as someone's already said, they've led to the conviction of, like, a handful of people, which, I'll be honest, I've been trying to find evidence of that, and I haven't. But if I take the other person at their word that they've managed to get 3 to 4 people convicted, Alex himself said that they busted over 300 people. That means you have way too many people out there that these idiots have run these catching shit on, right? So obviously the money's not being put to good use. It literally would cost them nothing to make a fake Instagram account, catfish somebody, put together the files, and forward over to the local police department, right? That would literally cost them nothing, right? If you want to throw in, like, phone conversations and such, still would cost you nothing, right? Like, I guess maybe get a burner phone, right? That costs a little bit. The money for a phone and a mobile plan, what's that, like, $100 a month? Okay, $100 a month, right? They do some editing, but sometimes have to go to a third party to do professional editing. What? I watched their video, dude. Like, I watched their entire video. Like, I could have edited that. And I'm terrible at editing. My editing sucks. I found people, right, who offer to do my editing for free, and I'm like, don't worry about it. I just want to record, give my thoughts and opinions. I don't want to, like, drop this on you and make you work on it. But, like, with my very small channel, I've had more than one individual offer to do my editing for free, and they do, like, a really good job because I've seen some of the other work that these people have done, right? And they're offering to do my stuff for free. Like, Predator Poachers has a massive audience. I'm sure more than one person's offered to edit their stuff at no charge. And even then, their editing doesn't require a professional editor. What are these people smoking? Right? Like, it's so stupid. This one actually really pisses me off because the argument of money gets, like, mangled up so bad because these idiots will then say, well, these YouTube channels, they're making money too. Yeah, but these YouTube channels aren't, like, busting predators and letting them go scot-free, you dumbasses. Holy shit. Okay, so let's talk about the text conversation that went on Instagram between Tipster and this Alex guy from Predator Poachers. And I'm going to link Tipster's video in the description because you should watch the entire thing in full. It's like 50 minutes long, right? But it is well worth seeing the entire thing in full, okay? But this conversation, my co-host, Aura, went ahead and posted this to Twitter. So I caught Tipster's video regarding the Predator Poachers. He discusses these DMs in particular about Hansen using and sending pics of real minors to potential predators. He again, we're about to see him using an actual minor in their sting operations, right? Putting the minor in the room with the predator. And again, there are no police there in case something goes wrong. because they're idiots. He discusses these DMs in particular about Hansen using and sending pics of real minors to potential predators. What I find interesting is that Chet, Alex, whoever, doesn't bring up that Hansen worked with authorities, right? Go to 110 Mark. They used real kids' photos of actual 13-year-olds, which we used a relative of ours, and the girl was someone that reached out in 2019 when I just started doing this. What's your opinion on Chris Hansen using a pic of a real 13-year-old? Is that okay because he didn't say the N-word 2 years ago? Okay, a lot to unpack there. First off, what was the photo of a legitimate child, or was the photo of an adult who then used a photo of when they were younger? I am curious there, right? Because first off, I don't know everything about Chris Hansen's operation, but also, it's Chris fucking Hansen, okay? Even To Catch a Predator had many issues. They were forced to shut down because they caused someone to self-delete on film, right? Like, dude, even TCAP had a ton of problems, okay? And like, actually, yeah, Ora's gonna say the entire thing, right? And I'll read his entire statement, right? But like, look at this. What's your opinion on Chris Hansen using a pic of a real 13-year-old? Also shitty, right? Like, even if it's an adult using a photo of when they were a child, right? I still don't think that you should give pedos, fat material, Alex, like you've been doing. But like, you took an actual child and put them into a room with an actual predator. You did that, okay? All right, you did that. But as far as like this whole thing of like, well, people are just mad because I see the internet. Like, dude, you being a fucking racist has nothing to do with any of this stuff, right? You being a dirty fucking racist has nothing to do with any of this stuff, right? I didn't even bring up you being a filthy fucking racist until right now when you decided to bring up that you say the N-word, right? Oh, it was 2 years ago. Buddy, man, you go fucking hard R. Like, let me give like the sentence that in which you use the hard R twice, right? You can't say the N-word on live stream. The N-words will get mad, right? Like, that was you! Bro, you being a fucking racist has nothing to do with any of that stuff. But, like, maybe work on it, right? Maybe work on that, okay? Because, like, I seriously take more issues with you putting children in harm's way, right? I take way more issues with you allowing predators to get away, right? Because of things like you can't coerce a confession. You can't get a confession under duress. You cannot use entrapment to get someone. Like, you can't do these things. That's why the police don't do these things. That's why when EDP says he doesn't want to go, and you're like, no, you have to come see me, right? Which I'm sure you've had plenty of conversations go that way, right? That's considered entrapment, and it doesn't work in a court of law. Now, sure, you might get some people, they might not have a good attorney, right? Judge might not give a shit, right? That's why I think you've been involved, as someone else has said, and I can't actually prove it. 3, maybe 4 people, right, of the 300 plus that you've run into head first, no helmet. Jesus, dude. As far as, like, you comparing yourself to Chris Hansen, right? Furthermore, that doesn't really excuse anything, in my opinion. Only another reason to add to the list of why I think Hansen and his team can be incompetent. Don't think Hansen would be the best example idol for doing the things you do, especially after the whole Onision blunder. TCAP NBC got sued, remember that. Keep in mind, it's the tactics the poachers use currently, as well as most copycats. Hansen got arrested for felony charges for issuing bad checks, right? Like, dude, like, if you're going to say, well, Chris Hansen did it, bitch, like, we don't like Chris Hansen either. Chris Hansen's a fuck up. Chris Hansen, like, NBC had a major fucking lawsuit over To Catch a Predator, right? And that dude never faced justice. Like, I'm kind of glad, right, that, he's no longer with us, but at the same time, right, like, you guys are allowing these predators every type of legal defense possible, right? When I say, like, you can't get a confession or duress, and I've had people argue, well, that's so stupid. Well, there's no duress. If Alex, right, shows up with 4 people, gets into a home. Actually, let me go back into this article. Let's see what this says, right? Right. Then in a confrontation with the man, they urge him to make admissions, with the leader of the group making such statements as, this could go one of 2 ways. We could either get the police right now or have a talk with the family, right? That is a confession made under duress, right? Because, look, he has a right not to self-incrimination, 5th Amendment, okay? But also, you threatening to go to his family and screech that he's a Pedro and he's trying to sleep with kids and shit, right? Allegedly, right? There's a reason why you have to say allegedly, because he's never been convicted of any of that stuff. Let's say the cops arrest Alex, right? Because Alex is putting a minor into rooms with predators, right? Well, I'm just, I'm not saying they would. I'm just, there's plenty of other illegal shit, okay? But let's say that they did that. And Alex is in the interrogation room. He's sitting down, and the cop goes, look, man, you can either confess right now, or I can tell everybody that you know that you tried to set up dates with predators and children. Like, it's technically not untrue, right? You're leaving all the context out, but, like, it's technically not untrue. And Alex signs a confession. That's a confession made under duress, right? Like, there's a reason why this stuff doesn't work in court, okay? So if your goal is just to expose these people online and make some money, right? At least own it. At least be upfront about it. Because none of this stuff is going to lead to these people being arrested. You're letting these people go scot-free. Now, okay, I've held this back long enough. Compilation of minor used in person endangerment of predator poachers. For predator poachers. So this is the minor in question. See this old man, right? So they're using an actual kid. Sit down with the minor, right? And they do, like, to catch a predator, right? And then look, this is my favorite part. He gets up, goes away, and wanna be Chris Hansen. Take a seat. Oh my fucking god. But that's not even the worst of it, right? Same minor, okay? Gets this guy, like, the dude's taking his clothes off with the kid in the room before Alex jumps in. Okay? You guys are fucking mental if you're telling me that you're okay with that. You're literally fucking mental. If you're a fan of predator poachers, you just go like, well, I mean, like, nothing happened to the kid, so it's okay that we, put him in fucking danger. Anyways, guys, that's the video. One final word on predator poachers. Free speech advocates. Apparently, they don't like the fact that Tipster has been commenting on their streams. So they went ahead and put him on a timeout, right? Because, right, I think they called Tipster, like, a coward for ducking on them. So, right? Look, there you go. I've been sent a ton of stories about Alex so far. Someone accusing Alex of taking photos of their kid and using them as, like, fat bait for pedos, right? Like, dude, there's been a lot of stuff sent to me, and I'm not gonna go over anything unless I can actually, like, show you something to back it up. But I will say I kind of understand why it's very disturbing to see this amount of shit coming out about this guy, and you still see people leaving, like, the most idiotic and inane and inept and just completely brain damaged takes on this stuff, right? Alex is dangerous, right? Alex puts kids into actual danger. Alex, through his actions, has absolutely allowed predators back onto the streets because he refuses to work with police, right? He wants to make as much money on this stuff as humanly possible, right? Fine, okay? Fine. But if you're prioritizing making money over a predator literally going to prison, I'm sorry, right? I'm sorry, but I'm absolutely going to make videos criticizing you guys, criticizing your fucking completely just weirdo fan base who has such serious hot takes as that they would rather go to prison for a few years than be outed on YouTube, because on YouTube it's forever. Anyways, guys, that's the video. This whole thing's just a fucking mess.
Novo, let that shit bang.